The Story of Things is an interactive experience which is built to encourage playfulness and curiosity. It's made by using automata and binaural sound design, which is triggered by digital sensors. I wanted to combine the two technologies. One is lo-fi, one is hi-fi. One you can see how it works, the other is quite mysterious, yet familiar because we've got them all in our pockets these days. Yeah, so it's kind of capturing a feeling of childlike curiosity is what I wanted to try and embody. And partly inspired by the work of Roma Patel, who works specifically for young children and makes wonderful interactive installations for young children. What if you could make something like that for adults? And it's important to play because we all once knew how to do that. And that's how we learn. And it's the most powerful way to learn. And it still is, as far as I'm concerned. By playing and experimenting, you can come up with the best ideas or at least have the best fun. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a productive thing where there's an end product. It's just a way of being and a way of taking time out from the rest of the world and being in the moment, which I think increasingly is more and more important. My background is from community music, and I've worked with a large range of ages, and the most important aspect of all of that work is playfulness and accessibility and demystifying music. So I wanted to create a space where music could be made together. The machine itself, Liberace Fibonacci, is such a pleasing thing. It's such a simple thing to turn a handle and to see this wave motion. It's a complete sine wave, which seemed apt for me because of the sound element. It's just a simple act that just causes so much joy and pleasure and satisfaction. It's just so satisfying. And when the hammers spin, it's like, oh, yeah, simple. Such a simple pleasure, but is actually really complicated.
Yeah, I think it was wonderful, and the craftsmanship of it as well. I mean, the combination of the sort of traditional tactile type craft aspect of making the automata, which is real, and you can touch it, with the sort of more esoteric, more sort of the film and the sort of digital magic, which is, you can't necessarily see the processes that are involved there.
Although I didn't set out to make a piece for children specifically, but this is open to all ages, and families came along with children that were quite young, and it was just really a joy to see them playing together.
The working it out was it was like childlike, that you don't know how these objects work, and you have to just play with them until you work it out. And it's like we spent some time with our friend's 1-year-old yesterday, and it was like, when you see him interacting with things that he doesn't have a clue how they work, it felt like that. I think.
Wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, it reduces you to a childlike state, isn't it?
In the best possible way.
I didn't really know how people were going to react, and probably the worst fear for me was that they would go, yeah, that's right, and want to go. But people seem to really be captivated in that space. I really wanted it to be a non-verbal space, but I never wanted to tell people how to be. They were listening to a really quiet little soundtrack in the background just to lead them in. Instantly made that happen, so they're instantly transported into a different space. Funding is completely vital, absolutely vital for me to be able to work with the people that I needed to work with. And one of them was Ben Futter from Fantastic Fabrications, who was just instrumental in making this machine look like it does now and not a terrible Flintstone model that I made. And I could pay him to do that, which is so important. And also working with Carl, who was just the right person for this particular project, because his background in community music, I've worked with him a lot and completely trust him. And it's great to be able to work with the people that you want to work with.
Absolutely gorgeous. It was just visually so beautiful and like stepping into another world.
It was.
Really was.
It was very soporific as well.
So having seen the reaction by the audience has made me really think about how I can move this forward and incorporate more live music and create a show around this for larger audiences. So I'm really excited about building on that.
What I really loved is, and this is a little bit technical, is the kind of
the samples that all the technology is triggering has also been composed by Mary, and I think it's kind of quite a subtle thing. You could have used much easier samples, but she somehow, those samples are being triggered randomly, and they all seem to have to work. So I appreciate the kind of skill that's got into composing those samples.
This has given me an opportunity to see what can be done on a relatively small budget and what the possibilities are to do a larger scale project and to incorporate more and new technology and combining the old stuff too, so I think it's got scope for expansion and to develop further.